everyone. The topic of this session is Introduction to Arrays. Actually, this session is all about arrays only. How to declare the arrays, definition for arrays, how to declare arrays in C#, the object-oriented language has got its own method of declaring arrays. It's very different from declaring arrays in C language, and there are different kinds of arrays and how to declare those arrays, and we also have a look at some C# programs based on arrays. An array is a group of continuous or related data items or similar data items that share a common name. This is the definition what you have learned from your previous programming languages. An array is a group of similar data items that share a common name. That means you have if you have declared as int marks, that means it is going to store only the marks which is of integer type. If a particular school has a habit of storing even the floating point marks for a student, that will not be allowed. If you are allowed to store only the floating point values, continuously you need to enter the floating point values only. If you want to store only the integer values, you need to store similar kind of integer values only. So this is the concept of arrays. Array is a group of similar kind of data items that share a common name. We can define an array name called as marks to represent a set of marks of a class of students. Suppose you are declaring an array in this format. Of course, you know that you need to use the subscript while declaring an array. You write the data type, write the variable name, and specify the subscript. But here, in case of declaring arrays in C#, first you are going to write the data type, then you specify subscripts, then you write the array name. This is the syntax followed in C# language. Data type, it defines the element type of the array. You have learnt about data types. There are so many rich set of data types that are available in C# language, like primitive data types, reference types. Under primitive data types you have int, short, byte. These are all the variety of data types, float, double. It's a rich set of data types that are available. You can use any of those data types depending on the requirement of your program. And then to specify the array size, you need to create subscripts here after the data type and write the name of the array. This is an example for array declaration, which is at the last part of the slide. That is int. In the place of data type, I have taken int. I have specified the subscript and array name is x. Int subscript space x. It can store int values, and also similarly instead of int I have taken here string data type. With subscript the variable name is s. It can store only string values. Continuously it will keep on storing only int values. If you enter some floating point value, it is not ready to accept. That's why the definition of array goes like it's a group of or a collection of similar data items. Next, you can specify another data type. This is another example, double. Then mention the subscript, then write the variable name. Provide a space, write a variable name. This is how you declare arrays, you create arrays in C# programming language. Then you can specify after writing the data type, subscript name and name of the array or the variable name, write the equal to operator, and this is a new operator. Mention the new operator and write the data type once again, the same data type which you have followed here, and then mention the size of the array. This completes the array declaration section. The type specifies the type of data being allocated. Size specifies the number of elements in the array, and name array is the name of the array variable, and new will allocate memory to an array according to its size. For example, if I have specified the size as 5 here, it is going to allocate the memory 5 memory locations. How does it is going to allocate memory locations? We will have also look into that, but before moving on to that, we will have a example of array declaration. Then we will move on to array initialization. Define an array with size 5 but do not assign value. That is the instruction which has been given here. Write the data type as usual, then mention the subscript for the data type, provide a space, write variable name equal to new, provide a space, data type, mention the size. So the pattern is same as explained in the previous slide. The above statement declares and initializes int type array that can store 5 int values. The array size is specified in square brackets. This is an example for array declaration. Then we will move on to initializing values of an array in C#. How to initialize the values? This is another example. As usual, we need to write these things according to the syntax, but after mentioning the size of the array, you need to open these kind of brackets, that is a flower bracket for initializing values. Write the numbers, input the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, close the bracket, end the statement with a semicolon. This is how you are going to initialize values in the array. The array stores the number 1. These are the values. These are not the memory locations or indexes. These are the values that have been initialized to store in 5 memory locations of the array. The array name is int array2. 1 is going to be stored in 0th memory location. 2 is going to be stored in 1st memory location. 3 in the 2nd memory location. 4 in the 3rd memory location. And 5 in the 4th memory location. We will have a look at the, I think you know all these things, but we'll make a quick revision of these things. If you are storing the values, see, these are not the memory locations, these are the values 7, 11, 6, 55, 98, 45, 16, 96 and 46, but these are the indexes or the memory locations starting from the lower bound, it is ending in the upper bound. Array length equal to 9 means always, as all of you know, the array index starts with the 0th position. Since it starts with the 0th position, it will end in 8th position. If you are entering 9 numbers, the index or the memory positions or that will be occupied is going to be 8. So in general, if you consider these indexes for storing the values, it starts from 0, ends in n-1 memory location. N stands for number of values or number of elements in the indexes. Number of elements is 9, 9 minus 1 is 8. That is the upper bound. Similarly, in the example which we discussed just now, these numbers will be stored starting from the 0th memory location and ends in the 4th memory location. That is, number of elements is 5, 5 minus 1 is the last, 5 minus 1, that is 4 is the last memory location or the last index position. We have already discussed one example for declaring an array, that is the thing which is called as one-dimensional array, because we have seen only one dimension in those examples. Dimension means these subscripts. Declaring a single dimensional array of 5 integers means this is the syntax starting from 0, it is ending in 4th memory location. Here the new operator has to create the array and also initialize its element by their default values. This is a sorting program to sort the numbers. This is an example C# program based on arrays, what you are viewing on the screen. As usual, according to syntax, this is the namespace, which is the default namespace, that is system. This is user defined namespace demo. You are writing a class name here, that is my application, and this is the main method, public static void main, and here we have a declaration and initialization portion of the array. Here, instead of making use of new operator, only the data type, subscript and the variable name has been used, and it is directly being initialized with 5 values: 98, 23, 97, 36 and 77. This is the print statement to print some statement like original and sorted list, and for each loop has been used. For each loop, it's an advantage if you're using this kind of loop in C# programs while visiting each and every index in the array. You don't need to write the maximum size of the index if you're using the for each loop. That is the advantage of making use of for each loop, which is not available in procedural languages or even in C++. You have this facility in some other object-oriented programs. That is why we have not made use of new operator, and then we don't have bothered to declare the data type, variable name, again mentioning the maximum size. That is not done here. Instead of that, I have used for each loop. The syntax goes like this. The same data type has to be used here. One variable name, in is an operator, and list is the array variable name. Here the list, the array called as list, will store these 5 numbers. The problem for us to solve is to sort these numbers in an ascending order. Here the numbers are distributed randomly. It's not in proper order, like it's not in ascending order. We need to sort these numbers in ascending order. For that, each and every index position has to be visited, but we have not mentioned the maximum index size here or the array size here. Instead of that, by making use of the for each loop, the list array has been visited by making use of this I as a variable and by making use of in operator inside the for each loop. Here console.write statement is printing the elements one by one by making use of this print statement. Then we have a method array.sort list. Sort is a method which is going to sort. In this program, we have not used a logic for sorting. There is a logic for sorting the elements by making values to swap with each other, like we do in bubble sorting technique. In the prescribed textbook it has been mentioned, but I have used the sort method here. This sort method will sort. This sort method has been applied on the array variable list. This list will store all these elements. If you apply sort method on all these elements, it will sort out the numbers in the order, and it will, to print the statements, to print the numbers which are in sorted order also, you need a for loop. Here for visiting the arrays and printing it, we have used for each loop as a replacement. Another format of for loop is this one. This is the basic for loop which we have used. And dot length, list dot length, it's actually a kind of function. You cannot even call it as function. It's a class which is present in arrays concept in C#, which determines the length of the array or the size of the array. Here it will determine the size of the array, list dot length, and the numbers will be visited one by one after incrementing the positions. It's I equal to 0 means in the 0th position 98 is stored, in the first position 23. Similarly, other numbers will follow the order, and then after sorting this one by using sort method, we're going to print sorted numbers. In the 0th position, this first sorted number is 23. 23 is going to be stored. The 23 is printed here, and for it is followed by next highest number 36, 77, 97, and last number is 98. By visiting each and every array index, the element that is stored in that particular location has been retrieved from the index positions. So this is how we can write array programs. This for each loop, the facility of for each loop, dot length, and this sort method. These are all the things which are not available in other programming languages what you have learned. So this is the advantage of learning arrays here. We will look into the array.length property, which we discussed just now in the sorting program. It is used to get the total number of elements in all the dimensions of the array. That is why we have used array.length. In that program, we have used this property to find out the total number of elements, means the maximum number of elements that is in the array. The length of the array is going to be decided by this property. C# provides this property to find the length of the array, because the length of the array list in the sorting program was 5 before sorting, and the same length should be there, just the values have to be shifted here and there, because we are sorting the numbers. The index position or the maximum value should remain the same even after sorting also. If you don't want to specify the maximum limitation of the number, you can go for this array.length property. And we have another topic under this arrays, that is array class, which is available in C#. It is the base class for all the arrays in C#. It is defined in the system namespace. That's where in the sorting program we have made use of namespace system. The array class provides various properties and methods to work with arrays. And what you are viewing on the screen, these are the methods or properties of array class. And we also look into one simple program which has made use of the methods or properties present in the array class. Not all the properties have been covered, but some of the properties, like some two properties, is made use of in the program. This is the program. Which has made use of the facility or the methods of array class. Is a program to reverse array elements, reverse and sort the array elements. To reverse the array, we have used reverse method, and for each loop has been used here. Same program, the array name here is also list, which is initialized with some numbers, and for each loop will store all the numbers which are in the array name list, and it will print those numbers. To reverse the array, we don't need to use the logic, we don't need to write the complicated logic. We can just make use of this reverse method, which is present in the array class. It will reverse the numbers, and those reversed numbers would be sorted here by using the sort method, which is again present in the array class. List contains all the elements which are reversed now. See, the reversed array is, you can view the output. Output also has been displayed on the screen with the help of for each loop, because we need to print all the elements, each and every element of the array index. Here you can see that the numbers have been reversed. 10, which was in the last position, is in the first position now. 30, finally this number is there. The first number is in the last position. Now sorting goes. Sorting method will do its work, and it is sorting all the numbers in the ascending order. And there are different kinds of array, like two-dimensional array, which will make use of two subscripts instead of a single subscript. Here, instead of in C programming languages, you would use two subscripts here, but here if you put a comma, it will create a two subscript or two-dimensional array. An array with two subscript means it's a two-dimensional array. Here we have a two-dimensional array of 4 rows and 2 columns. This is how you write the two-dimensional array. This is the pattern. And then three-dimensional array. Here, this is how we are going to declare three-dimensional array, which is in the last line. The number that you are going to write in this portion, that is the size portion of the array, will decide the dimension or the type of array that you are going to use in your program.